Hello everybody, and welcome to Left of Meta. This is a series where I try and highlight decent to good sets that can be good for newer players due to the ease of acquiring them compared to the more high-end meta sets such as Reliquin, Sororia, or Yolnagrin. A couple of ground rules for these sets: they have to be from Overland, PvP, or the base game dungeons. If they're PvP or Overland, they have to be relatively cheap on guild stores. And these sets won't be the most common in higher levels of play, but they will be tested alongside more meta sets. For stamina DPS, those will be the Leviathan set from Crypt of Hearts and the Maelstrom Bow. For Magicka DPS, those will be Mother's Sorrow from Nishan and the Maelstrom Staff. For healers, that will be Spell Power Cure from White Gold Tower, and for tanks, it will be Ebon Armory from Crypt of Hearts. If other sets are used in the video, that will be noted in the video's description, as well as before we get into the set description. This video contains the Velidreth monster set from Cradle of Shadows. And with that out of the way, let's roll into today's set. Today's set is called Legacy of Karth. It is a crafted set that requires 6 traits to craft and is found in Druidoc Readouts in the Reach. This set gives the following bonuses. At 2 items, it gives 657 critical chance. At 3 items, it gives 129 weapon and spell damage. At 4 items, it gives 1,487 offensive penetration. And at 5 items, enemies affected by your alchemical poison take 1,973 disease damage every second. So this is a decent crafted DPS set, especially on a stamina character. Its 2, 3, and 4 are all good, especially because stamina tends to have less pen than Magicka, and therefore that 4-item bonus penetration helps. And secondly, this buffs your poison, which is something that you're almost certainly running on a stamina character, and, more damage for what you're already doing is a pretty good thing to get. So, unfortunately, this set has a very low output. You see, poisons only trigger on your light attacks, your heavy attacks, and your weapon skills, and even then, only trigger 20% of the time. So each time we light attack, heavy attack, or cast a weapon skill, we have a 20% chance for the potion to trigger. And once that happens, we get the damage, and then once the poison is over, which for the most part is around 6 seconds-ish, we then have to wait another 4 seconds, assuming it's a 6-second cooldown, or essentially 10 seconds after the poison fires, before we have a chance to fire again. And the chance there is the big thing that keeps the set from being amazing. Because it's only a 20% chance for your poison to fire. Which means that we only have a 20% chance to deal the bonus damage and get the 5-piece bonus from this set every 10 seconds. And if it fires, we get a ton of bonus damage. But if it doesn't fire, or if we, say, don't have as many weapon skills and forget light attacks in our rotation because we're newer players, it's not going to do as much for you as, say, a set of Hunding's Rage, which is a set that I really need to talk about on this show. I need to talk about Hundings and Julianos. But if we could guarantee the poison to fire, if it was, say, deal poison damage instead of when your poison is affecting an enemy, then that would make this set 100% better. Because instead of having to run a poison to deal that damage, we could trigger it off of a poison glyph. And glyphs, especially damage glyphs, trigger every time you hit with a valid attack for 4 seconds. Instead of the 20% chance for 6 seconds. And that's not even mentioning lethal arrow, acid spray, or poison injection, all of which are in the bow skill line, that any DPS could run that would just make this set go from a mediocre DPS set to holy cow, this is amazing, if it was on dealing poison damage, but instead it only works on your alchemical poison, which is such a low uptime that it's just barely even worth considering. But, that being said, the only other real downside to this set, because again, it's kind of rewarding you for something you probably are already doing, is that no one thinks about this set. You won't find it on guild stores as much, so you need to either craft it or have a friend craft it for you. And it comes from a DLC zone, which means you either need to own the Reach DLC or have a crafter friend who owns the Reach DLC. And that alone can be a bit of a barrier to entry. But, if you have access to the set, it's certainly not terrible. I want to love this set. It's such a cool idea, and it's good damage when it fires. But the problem is, you're waiting on a 20% proc chance for your light and heavies. When compared to something like Hunding's Rage, you'll get more damage out of Hunding's, and when compared to something like Viper's Sting, which is just dealing damage with a melee attack, it really feels like it's just not doing enough. And I love this set. It's a really cool idea. I just wish it had a little bit more consistency to it, so that I could pull more damage with it instead of it just feeling like it was never there. Combine this with the fact that you need to get a crafted set from a DLC zone in order to use it, and it just sort of feels like it's falling off the wagon. With that being said, it is certainly a fun set to play with, so if you want to try it out, go for it. And with all of that out of the way, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next week, where we finally cover the elephant in the room, Hunding's Rage and Law of Julianos. Until then, have fun, stay safe, and don't die.